Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, join it or something.
Lucamus Prime here, so it's time for another franchise ranking video today, and today guys, I'm going to be ranking a trilogy today. This time guys, it's for a trilogy which is directed entirely by the director Todd Phillips guys, and it's a comedy trilogy. And this trilogy guys I'm going to be ranking is for none other than, as just by the title, the Hangover Trilogy. So yeah, and this will be ranked from best to worst in my personal opinion guys, so if you guys don't agree with absolutely fine, but please respect my opinion just like I respect yours. Now, I want to be honest, guys, and admit that even though this is, of course, a trilogy, in my opinion, it only works best as one movie. Just one. Because in my opinion, this movie franchise has only one great movie and two movies which are nowhere near as good. One that, in my opinion, is a mediocre mess, and the other that is downright awful. So, yeah. Now, guys, on to what is my favourite of this trilogy. My personal favourite of this trilogy would have to be 2009's The Hangover, the first movie of the trilogy. And yeah, now I really love this movie, guys. It's one of my favourite comedies I've seen. It's really funny because I've been to watch this trilogy, guys, earlier in the year, and they were definitely really fun to watch, very fun. And this movie in particular was definitely really fun to watch the most. And yeah, So what I like about the movie is, I think it's got a really amazing cast. So, for example, I really, of course, love Bradley Cooper as the character called Phil Wennick. I think this is probably my favourite live-action role of Bradley Cooper. You know, voice would, of course, be Rocket Raccoon from the MCU, but live-action definitely Phil in this trilogy. I also love the addition as well of Ed Helms as Stu Price, who is a dentist in this movie. He's also really funny as Stu, guys. Absolutely hilarious. And I also did love the addition of Zach Galifianakis as Alan, who is the brother of the bride who's getting married to the character called Doug. And Alan in this movie, guys, is so hilarious. I can just be my favourite live-action role of Zach Galifianakis. And, such a funny, memorable performance in this movie, guys. And I also like Alan only the most in this movie, because in my opinion, I did not really like him in the sequels, but in this movie, he was at his best, in my opinion. And also, speaking of Doug, Justin Barth was also very good as Doug, although unfortunately Doug doesn't have very much screen time, guys, and yeah. But I think one thing I do definitely love is, I love how this plot is all about a group of friends who have a hangover, as the title suggests, and they end up with one of them going missing before his wedding is supposed to happen. So that's a very interesting concept right there. And another character I do love, guys, is actually a supporting character who is actually a supporting antagonist, guy, which is Leslie Chow, played by Ken Jeong. And Leslie Chow, in my opinion, is also my favourite live-action role of all time for Ken Jeong, and my favourite role he's ever played, because he was so hilarious as Chow in this movie. Really funny. And it was also really cool. We got an appearance by Mike Epps as another Doug, which was also really funny. And we even got an appearance by Jeffrey Tambor as Sid, who is the father of Alan and Tracy. And Jeffrey Tambor played him really well, in my opinion, guys. And I personally do like him more as Tom Manning in the Hellboy movies and for his small role in Paul. But he was still great in this movie as Sid. And yeah. And the humour is also really funny, and it can leave you laughing for ages, because when I watched this movie, guys, for the first time, I had a really great laugh watching it. It was so hilarious from start to finish, really funny. And the chemistry between the three actors is definitely very convincing as well, really great, especially because when they made this movie, the three leads became good friends in real life, actually, guys, which is really cool. And we even got a pretty funny camera appearance by Mike Tyson, which was really cool. Really nice to see. And there's many funny lines for the entire movie, which is definitely really funny I had a good laugh, and yeah. And so yeah, this is definitely my personal favourite trilogy, guys, but however, there is some bad qualities, I will say. So the bad qualities is, I've already said that Doug doesn't have much screen time despite being a main character. I mean, he's a character that goes missing, and he doesn't really have very much screen time, because he only appears around, say, the beginning of the movie, then he doesn't appear until towards the end when they finally find him, and he's actually on top of a hotel all this time getting sunburnt, which was pretty funny, but yeah. I wish he had more screen time so they could have given him maybe some clues about him, maybe, like flashbacks, I don't know. you know, like, about what he was into, so we could have, like, gone somewhere in Las Vegas to look for him, but yeah. Because obviously we couldn't remember the night because we had a hangover as a result of what happened, because Alan drugged him, didn't he? So, yeah. So they couldn't remember, of course, the night, so they could have probably given clues via even earlier flashbacks, maybe, to show, you know, what Doug is into, so we could have had a look for him. And, yeah. But it was still really funny, though, nonetheless. A very funny movie, guys. Absolutely hilarious, and, yeah. However, another bad quality I will also say, guys, is regards to another character. A character who I really thought was very unlikable in this movie, guys, which is actually the girlfriend of Stu, called Melissa, played by Rachel Harris. Like, oh my god. She was so mean in this movie, guys, and really cruel, and she was very nasty towards poor Stu as well. And yeah, very unlikable character in my opinion, guys. Goodness me. And I was very glad that Stu stood up for himself at the end of the movie and dumped her. I think I like Rachel Harris far more, guys, as Susan Heffley have done with my kid original trilogy of movies. But yeah, in this role, nah, definitely not. So if I was to rate this movie out of 10, guys, I would rate The Hangover from 2009 an 8 out of 10. So yeah, in my opinion, the best of this franchise. And now, as unfortunately, is the good stuff done with, and now we got on to the stuff which is not as good. So in second place, guys, after The Hangover, we get to what is the second movie, which is The Hangover Part 2. Was in 2011 with Thomas Returns to direct, and oh boy, this is just how you make a disappointing sequel right here. So, it was anything good about this movie. I guess the chemistry between the three main actors is still good, I guess, maybe, I guess, and plus Leslie Chow also returned, and he's still funny as well, I guess, and yeah. And we got another funny appearance by Mike Tyson making a cameo appearance at the end of the movie, and there are still some funny quotes, I will admit, as well. And yeah. And I guess the poster, like the first movie's poster, is also funny, I guess. But on to bad qualities where I think it's a mediocre mess is because, like, I really don't like how this movie has basically the exact same plot as the first movie. Like, it's a rehash of the same movie. The only difference is it's set in a different location this time, because the first movie was, of course, set in Las Vegas. This movie is set in Thailand. So, like, the same plot as well, because it's all about a member of the friends getting married this time. But this time it's Stu getting married instead of Doug. But yeah, and just like the first movie, we're a couple alongside an animal, and one of them loses a part of the body. Like, for example, in the first movie, there was a tiger, and Stu lost a tooth. Whereas in this movie, it's Teddy, a new character, who loses his finger. And yeah. And this time, it's also Teddy that goes missing as well. Also, yeah. It's just really ridiculous, really, how they just copied it. And just like the first movie, look for missing person on the roof, yeah. And also, guys, as well, not only did they remake the same movie, just in a different location, they also made it less funny. Like, in my opinion, it wasn't as funny as the first movie. And in my opinion, it was more vulgar. Like, in my opinion, the jokes were very vulgar, in my opinion, in this movie. Like, a vast majority of them, especially the end credit scenes. I'm not going to talk about them because they're pretty cringe and very crude and inappropriate, so yeah. And they should belong in, like, a movie that's rated, like, 18 or something, yeah, because they're not very appropriate for a movie that's rated R, really, to be honest. I feel like the humour is very mean-spirited, especially, you know, Teddy losing a finger, which I found in an ice bucket, like, oh, that was cringy. In addition, guys, as well, what's also confusing is, for some reason, Leslie Chow, despite being funny, is now friends with the three main characters. Like, even though in the first movie he was a supporting villain, which I don't get. I don't know why he changed sides. It was very confusing. And, like, I also don't get as well why in this movie Alan intentionally planned to drug Teddy so that his friends would celebrate without him. So yeah, like, Alan is so stupid in this movie, it made him very unlikable. Like, goodness me. And, oh wow, it's just ridiculous how they changed Alan. It made him so unlikable in this movie, guys. I don't like him in the first movie, and plus there's also a case of animal cruelty. Like, what's also dumb is, you know the monkey I mentioned they wake up with, right? What's stupid is, the monkey smokes cigarettes. Like, that is so messed up and just absolutely stupid and cruel right there. Like, why do we need this in a comedy movie? And also, what's worse is, in the car chase scene, guys, the monkey gets shot. Like, is this what I want to watch in a comedy? No! Honestly, like, when we do animal cruelty, guys, I'm out. I'm sorry, I'm out. I can't tolerate animal cruelty, guys. I can't stand it. And plus, I think the character called Detective Pierce, Paul Giamatti, is also pointless. His only movie just replaced Leslie, really, to be honest. Like, oh, wow. And due to a lack of comedy, guys, I feel like the wedding reception dragged on way too long as well. It got pretty boring, and yeah. But, nonetheless, though, guys, because the acting is good, and there's some humour in there, and Leslie Chow is still funny, and, in my opinion, Phil is the best character in the trilogy, guys, who's not, bad in any of the movies, to be honest. I'm going to give the movie, guys, a 5 out of 10. So, yeah. And that's me being generous, but, yeah. So yeah, it follows and it also, guys, it also feels quite undertaken, too, because it's always the same problem where, it's the same movie as the first movie, but set in a different location, and not as good. Because this movie wasn't as good of a comedy as the first movie. Whereas Taken 2 was barely an action movie, like the first movie certainly was. Barely an action thriller, really. So, yeah, I give Hangover Part 2 a 5 out of 10. So, yeah. And now, on to what is, in my opinion, the absolute worst of this franchise, guys. It's for none other than the third installment released in 2013, which is The Hangover Part 3. Oh, my God. This is probably, in my opinion, one of the all-time worst sequels I've ever had to watch, guys. Like, oh my God, right? I don't know what I was thinking watching this movie. Like, oh wow. I mean, I watched this trilogy, guys, so I could do this ranking to tell you guys my thoughts on the trilogy, but, oh wow. So yeah, if you guys are new to this franchise, I've watched it so you don't have to, and in my opinion, guys, this movie absolutely sucked. Like, guys, if you Hangover Part 2 was bad, wait till you see this. This, in my opinion, is much worse. But, also good qualities, so Phil is still, in my opinion, the best character in this movie. In my opinion, he's probably only the most likable character in this movie. And we also get a new villain, guys, which is called Marshall, played by John Goodman. And in my opinion, he was probably one of the very, very few good things about the movie. And it was also nice, good pleasure to see Mike Epps return as the other Doug as well in this. And we also got an appearance as well by Melissa McCarthy as Cassie. And in my opinion, guys, even though she didn't have very much screen time, I thought she was slightly better than her role as Abby Yates in Ghostbusters as, the wrong call, the absolute abomination I hate in 2016, which was 3 years after this movie. So, yeah. And also, guys, it also gets a bit of praise as well for having a different story compared to the second movie, because thankfully it does not rehash the second movie's plot. But it's definitely not saying much, because on to the absolute bad qualities. So, like, in my opinion, guys, despite being referred to as a comedy, this movie, guys, is not a comedy. Like, this is definitely not a comedy at all. Definitely not. Because, rather than feel like a comedy, guys, it feels more like a dark thriller than a comedy. Like, and I don't get that at all. Because, I mean, when you compare it with Taken 3, at least Taken 3, despite having a different plot, tries to still be an action movie, matching its genre, like an action thriller. This movie does not match its genre. It's supposed to be a comedy, but it's not. It's a dark thriller. I mean, even the poster doesn't look like it's a comedy movie. It just looks like, 3 men in black about to go on, like, a mission or something. That's not even a comedy. And I've already touched upon the fact that I think it's unnecessary, because in my opinion, the first movie didn't set up any sequels whatsoever, guys. So, yeah. In my opinion, The Hangover only works as just one movie. And, yeah. See, it's absolutely unnecessary a movie, guys, and this definitely shows it. Furthermore, guys, I also hated how Sid, who is Alan's father, dies really into a movie, which was just pretty stupid, in my opinion, how they killed him off like that. Like, come on, how could you waste Jeffrey Tambor like that? That's stupid. In addition, guys, Leslie Chow, I mean, even though I loved him in, the first 2 movies, guys, in this movie, guys, they made him really unlikable, and yeah, I hated Leslie in this movie. They really ruined him. And also, guys, they also ruined Alan even more, because in this movie, guys, there's even animal cruelty, because, like, at the start of the movie, guys, Alan causes a car pileup on a freeway because he gets a giraffe, and he goes on a low overpass, and it decapitates the giraffe. Like, why am I having to watch this? Like, what was the point of that? That's not even supposed to be, that's not comedy material right there. Like, guys, I mean, when I watched this movie, I didn't even laugh. I did not laugh at all watching this movie, guys, because I did not find it funny. In addition, guys, if you thought that was bad enough animal cruelty, wait till it happens next, because Leslie, one of the reasons why I didn't like this movie, guys, is because they go to Marshall's house to steal some gold, but Leslie double crosses him and escapes. Now Marshall has 2 dogs on guard, right, at the house, and they tranquilize them and let them go to sleep for a little bit, so it won't be a problem. But then, when Leslie leaves, he snaps their necks while they're tranquilized. Like, that made me really angry, guys, because, like I said before, when I saw Hangover Part 2, I am one of those people that cannot tolerate animal cruelty. Like, as soon as I see that, I'm out. I can't watch it. I'm like, I couldn't believe the child did that. Oh my god. And also, guys, when it comes to Marshall, even though I did enjoy John Goodman's performance as him, I thought it was one of the very few good things about a movie, I really hated the way he got killed by Leslie. Like, it was way too abrupt and very anticlimactic and pretty stupid, in my opinion. He deserved a better defeat than that. Like, oh, wow. So, yeah, like, this movie is just absolute trash, guys, from start to finish, and yeah, like, it's not a comedy movie, in my opinion, guys. It's just a dark thriller, and it's just absolutely stupid. So, yeah, now, if we know what giving me out of 10, guys, so compared to the first, which would give 8 out of 10, and the second, which gave 5 out of 10, so it was a mediocre mess. This movie, guys, in my opinion, is garbage and belongs there. It belongs in the trash. So I'm going to give it a very bad 3 out of 10. So yeah, screw this movie. I like to pretend, guys, that The Hangover is just the first movie. So yeah, when it comes to the next time I go to a DVD shop, I'm only going to look for the first movie. But guys, if I have no choice and I've got to get the entire trilogy, I'll probably have to if the first movie's not available on its own. So yeah. And plus, guys, if I get a whole trilogy, it means that I can, watch them and in preparation for my reviews of the whole trilogy one by one, so yeah. Anyway, guys, so that's me doing my ranking of the Hangover trilogy from best to worst. So first place, of course, will be The Hangover from 2009, the first movie. Second place will be Part 2. And last place, and definitely least place, because it was so bad in my opinion, Part 3. So yeah. Like, these 2 sequels don't belong in this franchise at all. In my opinion, it's just one movie, and I like to keep it that way, so yeah. So, drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, in the comments for you guys, how you guys rank how you guys rank the trilogy. Also, be sure to join Team Prime by pressing subscribe for more videos in the future. If you'd like to be a member, you can press One Piece out or you can go to the description, and I'll see you all later.